Hey everyone, February turned out into an unintentional month of side-scrolling adventure games for me, and honestly, I don't regret it. There's something about these games that just works so well, especially if you're gonna play them on a Steam Deck. Whether it's their visual storytelling, clever platforming, or unique puzzle mechanics, there's something unique about them that I really enjoy. But that wasn't all that I played. I also wrapped up on Helldivers 2, dived back into Shop Titans, and finally played Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Edition. As you may know, I create backlog updates every month where I talk about the games I've beaten, completed, or left unfinished. But I felt that this haven't fully helped you in any other way. So I decided to reflect more on the months that I played and share my key takeaway for each month in particular, which I'll be discussing at the end of the video. So stick around if you want to find out that particular thing. That being said, let's get into the meat of the video. First on the list is Bulk Boy, a horror-themed point-and-click adventure. At first it looks like an innocent cartoon, but don't be fooled. This game is weird, unsettling, and sometimes downright disgusting. You play as a boy with a light bulb for its head, solving puzzles and avoiding terrifying creatures. One thing I found really interesting was this achievement system. One achievement in particular required you to play at midnight, which was a bit of a pain to tell you, because I had to stay up much more later, or what I did in my case, I went to bed and then I woke up at 12 just to finish that particular achievement. But despite some disturbing imagery, Bulk Boy was a fun and quirky adventure that stuck with me. And honestly, after finishing the game, I realized that the sequel is coming out. So if you want to get into this short adventure, you can definitely do so in a quick session for a couple of hours and wait like me for the sequel. Moving on to Pony Island, and this was one of the most unique games I've played. And if you are familiar with Daniel Mullins, you know he loves breaking the fourth wall, and this game does it constantly. What starts as a streamingly innocent arcade game quickly turns into something much more darker. It messes with your expectations, forcing you to hack the game itself to progress. There are moments where it pretends to crash, tricks you into thinking it deletes your saves, and even alters the way you interact with the game in real time. It's a short experience, but one that constantly keeps you on your toes if you enjoy games that challenge you to think about storytelling, and this one is worth checking out, and pretty much anything that Daniel Mullins is pushing out. So if you ever played The Hacks or Inscription, definitely check this one out. The next game that I played, and this was a revisit for probably the third or fourth time by now, I revisited basically Limbo, and I tried to go for completion this time around, and I succeeded. It has been years since I played this one, and I played it multiple times many years ago, but I always dropped it every now and then. I beat it a couple of times, but I never went for full completion. And to be honest, it still holds up beautifully. The game's simple black and white aesthetic adds to the eerie atmosphere, making every shadow and movement feel unsettling. There's no dialogues or traditional storytelling, just environmental clues that let you piece things together. The gameplay itself is deceptively simple. It's a puzzle platformer at its core, but some of the challenges require precise timing and quick thinking. Since I played this before, I had an easier time completing it, but it still managed to impress me all over again. Helldivers 2 is a fast-paced, chaotic third-person shooter where teamwork is everything. Unlike traditional shooters, this game forces you to rely on strategy, coordination, and a bit of luck to survive. I put in over 280 hours grinding my way to 100% completion, and while the last two achievements took some effort, it was absolutely worth it. Every mission felt like an action movie, and playing with friends made it even better. If you're looking for a game that delves into co-op gameplay, this one I highly recommend. I didn't originally plan to play Divine Knockout or DKO, but when I found out the game was getting delisted, I figured it was now or never. Since the achievements were relatively quick to complete, I decided to give this game a shot because the servers were shutting down and all the achievements could not be obtained. The game itself is a 3D platformer fighter with mythological gods as playable characters, similar to the concept of Smash Brothers, but with a different camera perspective. While the mechanics were decent and the gameplay was kind of fun, it was clear why the game struggled to maintain a player base. Matches felt a bit chaotic and balancing issues were noticeable even in my short time with it. I could imagine DKO being much more enjoyable at launch, especially with friends, but at this point it just felt like it was running through a game with a looming expiration date. That said, I still found some enjoyment in the process, knocking opponents off platforms and using godly abilities that had its moments. But unfortunately, this experience reinforced the importance of grabbing multiplayer games while they are still alive. Once the servers are shut down, all that's left is an empty shell of what the game once was. And not to mention, you never know if the game is still gonna run once the servers are completely shut. It's a reminder that not all backlogs can wait forever. Some games come with an exceptional date, and if you don't get to them in time, they'll be lost in time forever. But for the next game that I'm gonna talk about is one game that absolutely broke me emotionally. Planet of Lana is a breathtaking puzzle adventure that tells a story without saying much at all. Its stunning visual, incredible soundtrack, and heartfelt narrative made it one of the most memorable games I've played this year. The journey follows a young girl, and to be honest, I thought it was a boy from the very get-go, but if you're not reading the description, you might assume the same thing, and her companion, a small creature that I couldn't determine if it's a monkey or a cat. Maybe you can let me know in the comments. It looks like a cat but acts like a monkey. I honestly don't know, and I couldn't figure it out until the very end. Maybe it's one of both. As they navigate through this mysterious world filled with danger. Basically, you play as Lana, and her whole village is abducted by aliens, and you're trying to figure out what's going on, and you're trying to save your brother or find out where your brother is. So alongside your companion, you travel together in far distant lands to figure out how you can find your brother. And as you go through the whole story, you start to get attached to your companion, and you really form a beautiful bond that it was really memorable. There's one particular thing that really stood out to me, and that is the careful and well-crafted use of a simple melody that will really impact you at the very end. That really brought me to tears. I'm not gonna give you any more details, but it really was a remarkable moment that really made a difference for me particularly. And I think that a lot of people who played this kind of games will definitely resonate with them. If you enjoyed Inside or Neva or any kind of games that are like this, you're definitely gonna wanna play this one. And if you haven't had it on your backlog, definitely put it out there because it's such an easy game to complete. And if you're not into completion, just simply play it for the story. It's amazing. So after playing Planet of Lana, I wanted to play something similar, so I finally got around to Never Alone. It's a platformer inspired by Inuit folklore, featuring a young girl and her Arctic fox companion. While the mechanics were a little bit clunky at times, and I kind of discovered a couple bugs here and there, I really appreciated the culture elements woved into the game. It felt like an interactive documentary, teaching me about stories and traditions I haven't heard about before. One thing I really hoped for was that it would bring me to the same emotional conclusion that Planet of Lana did. Unfortunately, it didn't do it for me, but it might do it for you. It's simple, it's beautiful, and I really think that you should experience it because it really tells a tale that it hasn't been told before in any other game. Now on to the games that I have beaten, but I haven't completed. So the first and the only game that I played and beaten is Shop Titans. This is a mobile game at first, and it was ported to PC. It's an idle crafting game where you manage a shop, craft items, and send adventurers out on a quest. The grind is real in this game, but that's the part of the fun. The great thing about this game is that when I came back, I decided to join a great guild, which has been very helpful to speed things up, and that really helped me out to get my foot in the door. What I really appreciate about this one is that all the achievements that you gather throughout the mobile journey, they all get ported to the PC, so you wouldn't have a problem if you want to, 100% complete this game. Although this game is quite the grind. I think it can take up to 7,000 hours to complete. So wish me luck. I'll be talking about this one every now and then if I'm making any kind of strides or progress, but I'll try to keep it as minimum because I don't want to make it as a common thing. But you will definitely hear me out sometimes that, hey, I keep on crushing on this one. I definitely enjoy Shop Titans quite a little bit back in the days, and as I got back, it quickly clicked with me and I knew why I appreciate it. It's a really interesting game that really lets you tackle with being a shopkeeper, so I definitely enjoy this one. If you liked something like this, it's quite unique. I haven't seen many games that really tackle the shopkeeping and crafting and doing all this kind of stuff and sending your adventurers to do quests. Definitely check this game out. It's very simple to pick up. You can play whenever. Oftentimes you'll be waiting for missions to finish or crafting items to be crafted and stuff like that. So you can play anything else in between if you're looking for that. Initially, I didn't want it to really count it as an idle because you're quite involved in a lot of the things, but there's a lot of waiting. So if you want to call it idling, sure, you can call it an idle game, but it's not like the other games that I played in the past. And that being said, let's move to the last part of the video, which is my unfinished business, which I'm currently still working on. And for that, I only have one game, and that is Neverwinter Nights, the Enhanced Edition. This is a classic RPG that I thought I had played before, but it turns out that I only played the sequel. It took me a while to get used to the controls and the slow gameplay, and I had to rely a lot on mods to improve the visuals, not to mention that the game is not really up to par to whatever you're having RPGs today. So oftentimes you would find yourself lost in the world, not knowing what you need to do. And I had to use guides all over the place to read a lot online in order for me to fully understand, because this is a D&D game, so it definitely is a little bit different than any other RPGs that I played, and I was struggling to figure out a lot of the things. The game, I feel it doesn't explain entirely what to do, and I played as a ranger trying to get my foot in the door, and although I played pretty much more than 10 hours, I felt like I was still learning new things about the game. Even to this day, I haven't fully figured out why I don't have skills and why I feel like I'm completely destroyed by some of the enemies, and I have to rely a lot on my henchmen that helps me out. And I feel like it might be my guilt on this one because I started the game on the hardest difficulty thinking that I can manage it, and I picked up the D&D experience and I went with that. But I did see other people that went with probably lower difficulty and just breezed through. They have pets and they have all kinds of summons and stuff like that, which made the experience a lot more easier for them. For me, I feel like I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to this game, so I had to watch a couple of guides. There's not much information unless you probably read it. So when it comes to videos, there's a few dedicated channels that really talk about this one, but not as much as you would hope for. But other than that, it was a little bit of a struggle at the beginning, but the game started to grow on me over time, and right now, as I speak through March, I'm starting to get the hang of it and make some progress in the main campaign. The game is quite long to complete, and I feel like I'm taking my sweet time with it because I need to learn more and more things. I have to be careful. The game being very methodical and slow, it makes things a little bit much more difficult to get through. Still, I enjoy it a lot, and I want to talk more about it in the coming month. Hopefully by then I can complete it, and if not, I will be probably beating the main story and I can really talk much more about that one. What really surprised me about this one, and I'll wrap it up, is that this game is still getting updates and DLCs, main campaigns actually. That was just announced a couple of days before, so really surprised to hear that this game is still getting love. And honestly, I'm really sad that we don't have the sequel on Steam. I know it's made by a different developer. There were some issues with this one, so it is a lot more complicated to really have it ported. But if you want to play the sequel, you can pick it up from GOG. It's available right there, and I might be doing that. So looking back, February was an interesting mix of nostalgia, new discoveries, and emotional storytelling. The side-scrolling adventure games reminded me why I love well-crafted indie experiences, while Helldivers 2 gave me one of the most fun co-op sessions I've had in a while. So as I promised, I will be giving you a key lesson or takeaway from this whole month. And if there was a lesson I took away from this month, it's that variety is important. I didn't plan on focusing on so many side scrollers, but I ended up having a fantastic time because of it. It reminded me that that sometimes the best way to enjoy games is to break out of your natural routine. If you have a plan or something that you want to follow throughout the whole month or maybe the quarters, if you heard more of my content, you will hear me out. Sometimes you will break out from this box. Well, that was the month for me. That's why I wanted to make this what I played videos or my backlog update videos where I talk about this kind of stuff, where I share the things that I'm doing as I progress alongside you in your journey through your backlog. And maybe you will discover new games that you'll be interested in to add them in your backlog and crush them alongside me. I also wanted to keep track of my journey, share my experience, and maybe help you discover games you might have overlooked. So let me know in the comments, what did you play in February? What are the games that really sparked with you? Were there anything that really resonated in any kind of way? And what did you think about the games that I conquered? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below because I would really like to hear from you. And do remember that I'll be replying to every single one of them. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like it, subscribe for more content related to backlog, and as well turn on the bell notification so that you'll be notified every time I post something new. My name is Vashral, and as always, stay safe, take care, and happy gaming.